presented by Data East.
Hello everybody, my name is Shala. Today we'll be playing a new game by the name of And no, that wasn't rehearsed, and that was the perfect take. Oh. Yeah, I saw that this came up as one of the new games, and I thought, let's just play it for the funsies. Hey, who wants some free water pouring ASMR? Whoa. Let's put some start with some one pocket. One player here. See this. Oh, pop filter. Why can't you just stay in place? There we go. Clean break, hopefully. Okay. So Y press shows that. Okay. Power! Okay. Alright. As long as I just get the balls into the pocket, it doesn't really matter which order, right? At least I think that's how it goes. Oh! Nailed it! Perfectly aimed for that one, as we all could see. Glitch and whoa! Ah. Okay. Okay, probably should have seen that one coming. Wait. Max power! Ooh! Nailed it. Ah, so close. Okay. What if I just don't get into a glowing zone? Apparently I won't get in at all. Bless you. Thank you. Definitely not supposed to pocket the cue ball. Yep. Okay. Ooh, that's a lucky break. Ah. Maybe that'll do something good? Yep. Okay. Is that enough? Okay. Now, question 1. Are these glasses invincible? I feel like a trick shotsman would be able to hit around. Yeah? Okay. So... let's hit this one and hope for the best. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that should be... I was about to say, be easy. Why not just make it difficult on myself? Ah. Pool, the competitive sport of watching the DVD pause screen icon go into the corner. Oh.
Game over.
Ah, shucks.
Presented by Data East.
And now that I've gotten a bit can handle on the control of the game, it's here that I get to the part that you've all come here for. Why, yes, it's my book report. see, I've decided to go on what I've been calling the Madman's Quest for Context, and I've decided to start listening to as many audiobooks on all the things referenced in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, because that series is just jam-packed with references, and I figure that's as good as any other reason to start reading some classical books. And the first two I listened to were Out of the Quiet Place. Out of the Quiet Place from... Not quite. Out of the Silent Planet by C.S. Lewis, and Robbie the Conqueror. And I bet I know what you're thinking. Why didn't I start with the books that the main characters are from? Why did I start with was basically a throwaway line and bit players of the second volume? And the reason is, so Out of the Silent Planet by C.S. Lewis is a very amazing book, I'd say. It's about this, I think it's like philology. I think it's fancy a scientific term for he's a word nerd. Basically, his story starts with him backpacking through Europe, and he like finds this old woman wailing, saying that her son should have been back from work by now, and in search of room and board, he decides to go retrieve the youth, and so he may return her to his mother, and in the process doing so, he ends up finding two guys that he knew in college, and they're just like, it's like, oh, he's just a simpleton, you don't really have to worry about him. And so he gets him gets them to release him, only to end up being kidnapped and taken to space in a rocket to the planet of Malacandri, I believe is the name. It's going to be a very... I have no notes like written here, so just kind of remembering things so you can see how learn firsthand how good or bad my memory is. Yeah, it's funny because they like they don't answer any of his questions. They just kind of make him feel like an idiot for not knowing already. So they eventually like, oh, I've never heard of this Malacandra. Is it a star? So, no, it's a planet. Oh, I've never heard of it. Oh, it's what the natives call it. Oh! And you've talked to them? Yes. Okay, what do we call it? You know what, just figure it out when you're there. Okay. So they get to the planet. They get greeted by a scary race of these tall aliens who freak our main character out. Yeah, names. That'd be a good thing to list. Three main characters are named Ransom as the main character, Western as like the muscle of the group, and yeah, wait a second. Combing through the memory of my brain, and Divine for the as the like guy who made the rocket ship, I believe. But yeah, he runs off, and he, after like trying to rough it on his own, he ends up meeting a harassa, which are like these they're basically these like tall otter guys, and they have a very me, Tarzan, you, Jane meeting with one. I have a feeling I'll be seeing this screen a lot.
Presented by Data East.
And so at least I'll be seeing the lovely ladies also. I feel like the blue dress lady's more lovely, at least has more flattering than the black dress lady, or flattering portrait. And so, yeah, but eventually he, Ransom is, he's basically just trying to figure out why he was even brought to this planet. And he's called to meet these, to go on a quest to, like, meet the higher beings of the planet. And you think that would go in? I don't think so. Now that's an angle. An angle with a dangle. So he's called to meet these higher beings, and they goes on this long quest. He sorry, a bit of one thing I would like to admit, or I feel I have to admit, is that I've basically read, like, whenever I read like, Guys Survive Somewhere novel, I always think of Hatchet by Gary Paulson. So it's basically the joke about the guy who's only seen Boss Baby. This movie's a lot like Boss Baby. This guy surviving on an alien planet is a lot like Hatchet. Ooh, that's some serious points. Yeah, but through going through his journey, he eventually finds out that he's basically been kidnapped because the aliens on the planet basically just wanted to talk to, like, the humans who, because the Western and Divine had been on this planet before, and they were, like, just grabbing up every bit of gold they could find. And the aliens were who didn't really, like, to them, it's not really, they don't really, like, see gold as valuable. So it's basically, what if, like, they're basically just seeing them, like, grab up all these rocks, and it's like, why? They're like, hey, come to us and explain your behavior. And they're just like, oh shit, they're probably gonna eat us. We should get a sacrificial human. And so that's what Ransom's role was supposed to be. before he fled. It's a and so he explains, you know, he eventually explains why the humans have come and why they it's like, and what their goals are, and the aliens are just, nah, we'd rather you'd leave. So and yeah, it's a real good funny book. Yeah, not quite what I was expecting from a C.S. Lewis book, but I highly recommend. Did a lot better than the first one. Bit. Cheeky wink. Yeah, but so then I'm just gonna do a quick description of one book I did listen to, which was Adventures of the Broad Arrow.
Game over.
Presented by Data East.
So I thought the book was about the character Broad Arrow Jack. Because, well, to be honest, I just thought I just thought it was one of those books that has more than one name, and it's there's probably more than one book that has the name Broad Arrow in it, in its title. But a quick overview. Basically, a group of guys go out into the Australian wilderness on a quest to find gold. Like 2 drop out, 2 remain. They're basically for like the first 5 chapters, they're basically just dying of thirst, and then they eventually stumble onto what I found out the way I found out what a billabong is. A billabong is sort of like a part of a lake that has, like, when it's full, it has like the branching paths, and then when it's like dried up, there'll be parts that like get cut off from the main source but still have water in them, and apparently that's called a billabong. Is more than just a surfing fashion line, but yeah, and this helps them find a tribe of white people who were essentially descended from prisoners that had escaped, and yeah, it's and have this giant source of gold that they use, so I don't know. Yep. One of the tribal girls, gets infatuated with one of the main characters. It's when I was reading, I was listening to it, I was just like, yes, you get to have both a sexy savage stereotype and have her be white. I mean, by racism standards, that's practically genius. They get some gold. They escape the tribe. So, I mean, it was a pretty easy listening. It wasn't very, it wasn't like awful. It's alright. Just have to be okay with the racism. Which, listening to older books, just assume it'll be there and just be glad there's no N-words. Anyway, back to more relevant books. I also listened to Robbery the Conqueror and 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think if you're familiar with the stories, I hope you won't be too offended when I say that they're very similar.
Presented by Data East.
Because the stories could essentially be summed up by, oh, there's a weird phenomenon going on around the world. What could it be? Oh, the main character, have now been, like, kidnapped to this weird vessel. Let's go do a travelogue. And eventually I'll escape from my imprisonment. I'd say that generally, I think 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea, Under the Sea, is the better book between them. Because for starters, I don't really have the greatest sense of geography. So if they're a book that, like Robbery or The Conqueror, which is mostly just, we're here, we were just here, and now we're gonna be here, and it's just, they go from Pennsylvania to Montreal, which I kinda get. It's like Canada, but then they go over certain places, and it's like a book from the 1800s, so some of the places don't have those names anymore. That isn't helping my very low sense of geography. I mean, I'm not good with odds either, but yeah. And plus, if you're under the sea, then you can be like, it's a sea. And be like, yeah, that's an animal. I have no idea what you just said, but sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna land doing this one. Do I get any extra points? That's enough to move on. Wait. Okay, that wasn't the answer. What was this? Yeah. But and the I'll just give a short summary for the books since they're pretty easy to summarize. The basically in Robert the Conqueror, there's this phenomenon where people have heard music playing and they don't understand why, like, who's playing it. There's when they think it's huh? Okay. Anyway, in fact, the book opens up on a duel between two guys. So they who are said to be old enough to know better, and their two shots go wild. One kills a cow that just happens to be eating grass in a nearby field, and it's a British man and a Yankee. And one says, "I, was so insistent that it was Yankee Doodle." Other guy goes, "Well, I still insist that it was Rule Britannia." Instead of letting the argument flare up again, one of the guys says, "How about we just agree that it was either Rule Doodle or Yankee Britannia and just have breakfast?" So, breakfast declared, they go off and eat. But we find that our two Deuterogamists it's Uncle Prudence and Vice President Susan. Okay, I just looked up characters, and it says in it, Robber, who's also an alias of Captain Nemo, is the leader of the resistance when H.C. Wells' Selenites invade the Earth? What? What is this talking about? Okay, one more attempt to find names. Um, just needed to read down. Uncle Prudent and Phil Evans and who, so they're a part of this later than air society. Well, society, but I mean, just it's more of an association. Basically, Robert the Conqueror crashes one of their meetings and it's like, my plane is so cool, and they don't believe him. In fact, they basically tried to kill him because they're just so annoyed by him. And
Presented by Data East.
yeah. So, but they yeah, so, but eventually, well, I keep saying eventually, but after the meeting, the robber has his men kidnapped Phil Evans and Uncle Prudent, and he takes them on a journey through the skies, and they eventually escape from his custody. It was a pretty good book. I'd say that one of the major flaws in it is that Uncle Prudent has a black manservant named Fry Colin, who is he's basically like so aggressively not a character because like imagine if like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo was black. and because he's black, that's like, oh, he's, cowardly, as because he's black. All of his characteristics come from him being black, and he's basically just cowering in fear in the entire time. That he's on the albatross, the robber's flying contraption. And it's not a great listen if you don't feel like hearing that. Like, at one point, Robert just straight up calls him the N-word, and it's just like, hey, let's just dangle this man off the end of our flying contraption in a tub. I mean, it's like not cool. Treat your characters better, Jules Verne. You probably 100-year-old dead man. Yeah, I don't know how long Jules Verne has been dead. But, the yeah, so the book is basically, it's a when they get to the travelogue section, it's basically them
Presented by Data East.
Also, to continue the themes of racism, there's a part where they find, where they're over Africa, and they find that the Dahomians, or I think that's how you say that. Well, the people of Dahomey are basically getting up to do a giant human sacrifice to their god, and they basically put a stop to that by raining hellfire on them in a very civilized people stopping these brutal savages kind of way, because they're like, oh, they think we're their god, and then one of them kills the head executioner, and it's like, oh, they didn't like that, so now we gotta wipe them out. It's like, I wasn't really made comfortable by that. wasn't very cool. But eventually, the main characters escape. They escape while in the middle of night, while they're doing repairs on the albatross. And that's funny because they do plan to take Fry Collins with them. Yep. And they can't find him, so they kind of oh, we're running low on time, and so they jump ship, only to find Fry Collins has already jumped ship without them, which I think I think that was funny. But they planted a bomb on their way out, and that that does the albatross in, and it's sort of left on unknown whether if the crew of the albatross survived. And then I think the funniest idea of the book is when because the three sort of they make their way back to Philadelphia from, I don't remember where they were, but they eventually get their way home, and because as the next chapter is told from the lighter than airs association, and from their perspective, they basically vanished for 6 months, and they get back and it's yeah, we've been doing some thinking, and I think we'll just put a screw at the front of our project and the back. And they're the appease both the forwardists and the behindists, I believe is the name. And it's just yeah, we're not gonna say what happened while we were, gone for 6 months. We just got a cool idea for our go ahead for our project, which is named the Go Ahead. What's this word mean? Will that do anything? They put I forgot to mention, but Jules Verne likes to talk in very right and very mechanical thing, detail. So if that really floats your boat, then you will probably like this book more than I did, because he's just like, there's sections where he's talking about screws, which sort of like, you have like one set of screws going clockwise and then one going counterclockwise. And this means that it'll keep it afloat and stable. And then you're like, oh, cool. And then he keeps talking about the screws, which I did not care about and made me worry that I would, for the majority, for a good deal of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I would hear a lot about ballast tanks. Like they would be the new screws of 20 Leagues. Basically the Wobber the Conqueror ends with Wobber popping up going, I lived, bitch! One-upping their vessel and then returning them safely. And
Game over.
Presented by Data East.
yep. I'm going to now I'm going to briefly, air quotes, briefly talk about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Basically, this time the phenomena is that there's some kind of shape being seen in the water. We obviously know that the shape is the Nautilus. It's what the book is about. Basically, and so, but our main character, goes looking for this shape on an expedition. Eventually finds it. Gets falls overboard and joins the Nautilus crew for a bit of travelogue fun before eventually escaping. So the key details is that this is another 3-man band story plus guy who invented the thing story. You basically only need to know 4 names to understand of the characters of this book. Which is Professor Pierre Aronnax, basically our main character. Conceal, which is Aronnax's thankfully white manservant who therefore he actually has a character this time as a sort of unflappable just a science assistant. It's basically just his Samwise to Aeronox's Bilbo Baggins. Ned Land, who is a Canadian harpooner, and say I enjoy I enjoyed 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and I keep wanting to call it Beneath, because for some reason I think Beneath sounds cooler than Under, and I always feel like I'm getting it confused with the Little Mermaid song, because oh geez, I wonder if I can do this. Ooh. Nice. Actually gained shots. Because, yeah. So I enjoyed it more because there's just simply more things to do under the ocean. There's creatures that can be looked at. There's one of the oh. Ooh. Wait. Alright. There would be treasures in the sea, or you can find, there would be treasures and sights and creatures, and at one point we see factual Atlantis, which is real according to this book. It's not it doesn't have any mermaids. It's basically just a continent that sank once. Not continent, but city that sunk. So they're just kind of walk around it under the water. There's a lot more fun that they can have looking at sea critters than Robber the Conquerors. The most exciting is they fly aside a train and help save a crew of a shipwreck of a stranded ship. And there's a little racism in the book, because they end up in Papua New Guinea for one of the stops of their journey, and they get not treated so well. They're basically just start and end description with savages. So, I guess it's. I feel like there'd be more to them as a people, but I guess being kind of generic racisms is sort of not the worst like way that could have been written, I guess. Or is this enough to get me to the next town? Why did I get so many times of the shoot around the glasses?
Nice shot.
Ah, so close. You know what? That's been an hour, almost 12. I think I'll head out. Yeah, this has been my clean side pocket and vaguely rambling about some books I listened to. I hope somebody finds it amusing. Until next time, I guess. Bye-bye.